Isabella Katchastarr, and that's how I'm referring you to, Isabella. I read your book, and I could not wait for you to come on. Welcome to Preferred Company.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. First, let me tell our listener friends, Isabella is the author of Because I Didn't Tell, which is an absolute true-to-life story. This happened to her. She went through this. The way you wrote this book is just, I could not put it down. I have to tell you, I finished it in a matter of like 4 hours. I just could not put it down. Seriously. And the way you wrote each chapter, and at the end of each chapter, you put your wisdom and what you learned from it. And I'm going to let you explain who you are in a second, but I want listener friends to know this is for anyone who has suffered any kind of abuse, whether it be mental, verbal, physical, whether it's you, a loved one. You have to read this book, and you have to listen to what Isabella says. And I mean, you're just such a strong woman. I admire you for what you've gone through.
Well, thank you, Marianne. That's amazing. Thank you.
So who is Isabella?
Isabella is an abuse survivor, also who has recovered. And how did I get to recovery? It was quite a journey. So I am a mother and a grandmother. So obviously abuse did not stop me from living life fully. And writing this book was cathartic. It was healing. It was, for some reason, something that just needed to happen then. And so it is. And the purpose of it is hopefully to inspire others to heal through taking some time to forgive themselves, really observe their life and their role in it. Finding forgiveness releases regrets. And that way, you're even allowed and open up to forgive others. Doesn't mean you forget the experience. No, you learn the lesson and you move forward fearlessly, empowered by your faith, your support.
This is just part of what I admire you, because what you went through, which started at the age of 19, what you went through, and to forgive those people. I mean, I don't think I'd be strong enough to forgive those people. I'm serious. I don't know how you did it. You've got some kind of superhuman strength inside of you to forgive those people for what they did to you. I'm angry. I'm angry at those people. Seriously.
And I know, and honestly, I was for a while too, and sometimes little waves of that will come up. But I have a great faith, and the acronym for faith for me is finding all it takes to heal, finding all it takes to help, finding all it takes to hallelujah. And so the freedom from forgiveness and really examining my life, and even in the title that I chose, Because I Didn't Tell, I am taking ownership of the events in my life. Yes, the rape was not something I sought to have experienced. However, the choices I made following that out of fear, intense fear, kept me there.
I understand that. Joel, did I introduce you to Isabella? Joel, this is Isabella. Isabella, this is Joel.
I've been listening with fascination because Isabella, Marianne, and I were talking about you earlier in the show during the break. So, first of all, a warm welcome from me as well.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you.
You're welcome. Isabella, at this moment, I'm not going to go back in the conversation. I want to take it forward. I'm listening, and my feeling is by forgiving somebody to the extent that you have, isn't there a fear that it's going to happen again? That if you let somebody off the hook?
Oh, I think where the part where I say to learn the lesson and leave the experience behind, that's the freeing part. And so once you learn the lesson, and I will say, so I did embrace another relationship following, finding courage to leave that first horrific one. However, I experienced a different kind of abuse, and that was mental, emotional, verbal. And so, honestly, I don't know which one tears you down more. However, every time you get down, you pick yourself back up. And only when you can take ownership for the events in your life, only do what you can to always make your life better, always improving. Doesn't mean that you have to be anyone that anyone else expects you to be. It's what's acceptable for you. What can you excel at? How can you make your life better and that of your children if you have any?
Well, what you were saying about the fear of leaving, and if you've talked to any kind of abuse counselor or women that have been abused, it is the fear. It's the fear of, they're going to hurt me. He threatens you. He threatens your family. He threatens your children that if you were to leave, he was going to kill them. And you had a fear. So you had to protect. As a woman, you protected your family. So you put yourself in harm's way. That your parents, the story is just amazing. And I do want listener friends to find this book, Because I Didn't Tell. And it's just, even if you're not a victim of abuse, it's something that makes you stop and think.
Absolutely. And that was the purpose of, writing about the deceit, about the everything, all of the events, broken hearts and misleading, being deceived, having deception, but also it serves as a great warning for those who have not suffered any of this. And thank goodness, I know when maybe some person who hasn't experienced abuse is living life fully and perhaps so innocent. When they read the first few chapters, they'll probably put the book down saying that lady was just stupid. And I'm happy if they think so, because that means that they're much more evolved and equipped for society and all that happens in it than I was at that age and stage.
But I thought that. I'm being honest. When I was saying, how could you not leave? I'm being honest now. I thought, how could you not leave? Get out of this situation. And then I kept reading and reading and reading. And yes, it was out of fear. Now, the way you write the book, I'm going to chapter 13 now, where it says, seriously, at the end of each chapter, you put, I now forgive myself for, okay, and this is what you just said, Joel. I now forgive myself for not thinking the unthinkable, believing that I had everything under control, keeping these secrets that ultimately endangered our children too. Then you put a pearl of wisdom, which I love. Joel, this is what you were just saying to Isabella. Pearl of wisdom. If someone hurts you once and you do nothing about it, they will hurt you again. And here in italics, you put, you must save yourself. Tell someone, report abuse.
Okay, so Mary, no, actually, let Isabella comment. Her comments are more important than my questions. So please, Isabella.
Oh, I will listen kindly, Joel. You have a comment. Go ahead.
Your book comes out at such a timely moment in American history, which is the Me Too, that we're listening to over and over again on the media, reading in newspapers, etc., etc. Question is this. I don't want to sound unsympathetic to anyone. My feeling is that because thousands of women, mostly celebrities, have come forward, it has diluted my sympathy for the entire organization. That if they held this in for so many years, the fact that they are participating now makes me feel that they're weakening my sympathy for what they are saying. I know this is challenging. Can I have your thoughts?
I really appreciate you for saying that, Joel, because that is a sentiment that I knew would arise from this huge moment. And the voices being heard, yes, are celebrities, and I thank them for coming forward. And I would like to say that staying, why did they stay? Why didn't they say? Well, just because you're staying doesn't mean you're still. It's like a pot of water, and you sit it on the stove. We know the stove is hot, but we're sat there, we're placed there. And then the heat is cranked up. And even then, water is still water. And as the heat is rising, and so abuse after abuse, or silence, the silence that keeps us trapped within, but that water is getting hotter and hotter and hotter until now. And this is what has happened. We have reached the boiling point, and boiled water turns into steam, and steam can move a locomotive across the country. And so that's what's happening. Having it diluted from people's overwhelmingness of hearing it is a shame. And we really need to go into ourselves and have a moment to be peaceful with that. Count your blessings that perhaps you have not, or if you have and you've been able to cope better, that's amazing. We all have a coping mechanism, but is it hurtful or helpful? It's time that the voices are heard and that change can happen.
How are your children today? Because they suffered through this abuse also.
Yes, they did. And I will say that my children are quite aware of the mess that we lived in. They're quite aware. And now having children of their own, I believe there's a heightened sense as they look at the different ages and stages of their own children, and they see themselves, and they must wonder, how could someone who brought them into this world even do such a thing to them? And that is difficult to live with. And so we talk about it. But I also encourage them to seek professional help, but also get active, change your mind, find a sense of well-being in what brings you joy.
Isabella, question. There is a new phenomenon, maybe you've heard of it, called emotionship, which is, of course, a takeoff on friendship. It's really people that you could share your experiences with, your most private experiences with, without fear of judgment or they're repeating your story, etc., etc. I think you get where I'm coming from. You're beyond a bright woman with a beautiful talent of expressing yourself. Is there such thing? You're very welcome. You deserve that. Is there such thing as emotionships out there where women to women or women to men can find each other so as to go beyond paying a professional for this sort of compassion?
I believe there's a place for wonderful things like that, but with caution, because then you don't want to be drowned in that emotionship. You don't want to stay stuck in the experience. I feel that to move forward, you need to support each other, to say it once, get your story out, and then let's get excited about making change, make positive change. How can we empower each other to change our lives and that of our children so it's improving all of the time? To not get stuck in victim soul. Be victorious.
I so agree with you. We were just talking about this. I don't want to go off topic, but we were talking about some people in New Jersey who wanted to desecrate a statue of George Washington because he was a slave owner. And if you sit back and see yourself as a victim for the rest of your life, you gain nothing. I think that's
all
what you're
see in the world.
Well, Isabella,
Isn't this what you're about?
This is what I'm about, rising above victimhood, releasing that, and freeing yourself of the misery of repeating the story. Every story counts, yes, and I'm grateful that the silence is broken, because this is a barbaric behavior that has gone on for centuries. However, awareness and accountability, people being responsible to change their lives, get out of that boiling pot of water. Well, maybe it's just simmering. However, you know it's simmering. Get real with yourself. Find what it takes to get yourself safe and educate yourself. And then if you have something of value to share, a value that will help someone move forward in life rather than stay stuck in victimhood, then of course share it, but move forward.
This is such a difficult question that I'm having conflict about challenging you with this one. We live
Okay, Joel.
well, thank you. We live in a Western society, the United States, Canada, Europe, where this has clearly gone on for centuries, just as you said. Any suggestions for those people who may be listening? Because Marianne and I know that there are people around the world that do tune in with the advent of apps and cell phones. Any suggestions for those people who live in repressed societies as to how they can help themselves? I'm sorry, because you weren't prepared for this one.
That's a huge question. However, I will share what I feel and what worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that if people, number one, tell someone who can help you, tell someone about your situation, but only tell the truth. Don't get into a pity party and make it worse than it is, because then you'll lose credibility. So honesty is number one. Kindness. If we are, as you say, a modern civilization, however, we're not quite civilized in these actions and the words that we use and how we spread them. So if we turn it to kindness, and treat others as we would have them treat ourselves, I think the world can improve. I have faith in that, and having the wisdom to accept what you can change and the courage to go ahead and do that. And I say courage is faith in motion and love is the fuel. So we can grab that, be courageous, and move forward. Speak up and speak out. Help thy neighbor help themselves.
I have absolutely loved this interview.
You have to read the book, Joel. You didn't get to read it yet.
I have not. I have told you that. I have not yet read it. Guaranteed that I will after hearing Isabella live. Marianne and
I'm going to read it over again.
I know you will.
I'm serious.
I know you will. Let's give out the title one more time, Mayor.
Because I Didn't Tell, and she has on there as I Katchastarr. Tell us how can I like to give away books that are given to me because I read them once. This one I am not giving away, first of all, because it's autographed by you, and second, because I want to read it again. But how can our listener friends find your book? How can they find you? Do you have a website, a Facebook page?
I have all of that, yes. And so Isabella Katchastarr at Isabella Katchastarr, just a capital I Katchastarr at I Katchastarr will be my Facebook. My website is www.ikatchastarr, all small letters, all one word, ikatchastarr.com. And on there, if people would like a personalized copy, one that I can dedicate to them, they could send me an email. My email address is included on the website. I'd be happy to sign and send one off to whoever is ready to make that change.
Well, I just went on Facebook and I downloaded you. I put you, as a friend and liked it. And I'm going to share this because I believe this is a book that, like I said, even if you're not in an abusive situation, you can benefit in one way or another by reading this book.
Thank you. And it's a safe place to heal. It's a safe place to visit your own secrets. And maybe you're not ready to be in an emotion ship, but you can have one with the book.
Well, you might not even realize that you're in this situation. Some people might not even realize, and then when they read this, they're going to say, my God, she's describing me. And it's not just women, it's for men also.
You've got that right. Absolutely.
Isabella, one more time with the website for those who might have been busy grabbing a pen so that they can write.
Sure. It's www.ikatchastarr.com.
I'm going to let Marianne do the thank yous, as I'll do them simultaneously, but Marianne, please take it away.
I want to thank you so much for coming on. I want to thank you for writing this book. I want to thank you for enlightening me and for listener friends who do read this book. You are a wonder. You're a saint. Yes, you are. Yes, you're a saint. And you are just a strong, strong woman for what you went through. And just God bless you.
God bless you as well, Joel and Marianne, and I thank you for this wonderful opportunity.
Thank
no,
you.
you were a gift to us today, and once again, thanks for. We hope that you come visit again because you've brought us pearls of wisdom.
Oh, thank you.
That was good, Joel. She did. She brought us pearls of wisdom.
Exactly. Oh,
You have a wonderful day, and please,
Indeed.
again, come back.
You bet, and anytime. I'll
Thank
be
you,
there.
Isabella.
Isabella.